Hello, hello, happy Friday. Welcome to our Friday Witchy Hangout. We do this every single week where we get together, we blend our energies, we ask a juicy question of the universe, and we usually have a pretty good time doing it. So welcome, welcome. Today we are doing a juicy question on what do they want to say? And whenever we go poking around questions like this, I always just like to remind people we're dipping into their energy and what they would want to say, which is based off of their worldview. It's not the absolute truth, but we are going to look into their perspective because who knows why this person hasn't already expressed this. It might be that they don't have the truth. Maybe they have an uncomfortable truth. It could be any kind of a thing, but you might kind of think like, well, that's not really what happened. And it might not be. And just when we're tapping into people's perspectives and stuff, sometimes those things are a part of it. And I just like to give people a heads up on that. So without further ado, let us go ahead and go into our reading. Now, we actually don't have an anchor card for this reading, which is kind of unusual. If you've hung around here before, you know that to choose the piles, we always shuffle the cards so that whatever comes out. And a lot of times the anchor card just naturally comes out, but it didn't. So take that however it resonates with you. Maybe there's just not a singular, unifying common energy. I have an eyelash in my eye. Sorry if that's weird for you. But yeah, so there's no anchor card today, but we do have our 3 piles. So I'll put this up and then I'll dig around in my eye while you select your pile if you haven't already done so. And we've got pile number 1 is the seed. Pile number 2 is Kairos, and pile number 3 is the orphan. So I'll just put that up there. That's soul. And you can just have a little look, go through your process, and we'll take a moment of silence, soul, here in just a second. Hello, hello. It's morning in Alaska. I have decided that I really want to take an Alaskan cruise. I'll probably never be able to afford that. I've never taken a cruise before in my life. I've never been outside the country in my life, but I would love to take an Alaskan cruise. That sounds so fun. Beltane blessings. Happy Beltane. It's May 1st. Oh my gosh, Mandip. I love your name, Mandip. Okay, so if you're ready, I'm ready. We'll just take our moment of silence here. We'll allow the energies to kind of settle. We'll connect with that place inside of ourselves, that silent observer. When you're ready, you can open up your eyes and be drawn into whatever pile or multiple piles you are drawn into. Come see the aurora in the ball. Ooh. All right. Thank you guys so much for, I'm always so nervous whenever I start these live streams. It doesn't matter that I've been doing this for 5 years now. And I'm just so glad that I tend to peter out pretty quick, but it's just my nerves are always right there at the beginning. But I'm glad it doesn't turn people off. Well, maybe it does, but I guess we'll never know because they're not here. But, okay. Anyways, 3 piles. So we'll start with pile number 1, the seed. And we'll get a bunny butt, a bunny butt, a bunny butt, bunny butt, bunny butt. All right. That's just a little thing we like to do around here. Okay, so pile number 1, what does the person on their mind want to say? So I've already kind of been channeling for this, but for some reason I'm feeling a little bit nervous or shaky. So maybe that's a part of this for this person. And I'm feeling I want to just pull some cards before I just go spewing whatever is coming through. Maybe that means it's going to be a good one. Okay. So, all right, Spirit, for pile number 1, who is this person? And what do they want to say? Yeah, who is this person and what do they want to say for pile number 1? I've got a lot of silvery stuff here in front of me, like grayscale. You might want to say something's been kind of grayscale, maybe about the situation. Maybe they only have a black and white perspective, or maybe their life has been a little bit gray. So they told me not to say anything before I pulled any cards, and I've already gone against that. So, okay, who is this person and what do they want to say? Oh, I just saw the 2 of Cups and then the 5 of Swords. And in this deck, oh yeah, the 5 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. It's the worm that's like severed in half. So I feel like this is like a love situation, but it's been like severed. And it feels like a hard, like a severed. For some of you, this might be your energy. I feel like a lot of the times one of the piles is maybe as an anchor. That might be like a separate message. Okay, who is this person and what do they want to say? Yeah, this is somebody that you're separated out from. Oh my gosh, and what do they want to say? I don't usually do reversals, but this came out in reverse, the 10 of Pentacles. So that might kind of change things here. Okay, so I feel like maybe somebody here was juggling or they had a choice between 2 people. And the perspective is kind of shifting in my mind because, okay, I kept hearing the song Traitor by Olivia Rodrigo. It was something like, guess you didn't cheat. It took you 2 weeks to go off and date her. Guess you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor. And I actually want to say, like, I think this is this person kind of owning up to that. Like, that it's something here. It's not black and white. Okay, there's the black and white. It's not black and white. It's like not on a technicality. Guess you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor. So maybe this is somebody here confessing that there was like some type of distance. Okay, so I feel like, yeah, there was like some type of seed planted here. And then for some reason with this image, I'm getting like distance, like in an echo chamber kind of distant. And also, you know, it's got the same feel to it as like, I don't remember which song it was from Tortured Poets Department, Taylor Swift, the one where it was like all black and white. I was supposed to be sent away, but they forgot to come and get me. And she's like, looks like in a sane asylum. And she's like on the wall at one point, like, so I think this person is saying like they feel a little bit crazy about this connection and they feel a little bit crazy about you, or like whatever it was that like put you guys at a distance, like that made this person feel a little crazy. Also, I'm hearing this person say like, I must have been crazy to like sever this situation in the way that I did, to walk away. Yeah. And again, to like move on with somebody else so quickly. And when there was this like kind of growing echo chambery kind of like distance between the 2 of you. And again, I feel like there was some type of seed here. This feels like a relationship that didn't quite get off the ground, or if you were in some type of relationship, there was like a seed planted for something like in the future. But notice this seed is actually a pearl, which, you know, pearls, they are that little fleck of like bacteria or something that gets into an oyster and then it kind of builds up the pearl around it. It's like a way of kind of toughening up. So I feel like this is you, like this person really sees you as this pearl. There was some type of like irritation here in the distance and the separation. And I feel like this person would kind of like own up to it. It feels like really echoey, like you guys are shouting at each other from a distance, or like even just energetically. It's not really like lines are getting crossed here necessarily so much as it's just like airy and like not filled in. And this person would say that you're tough. Like something about you is like soft, sweet, sensitive, but tough. They would say something here started very small and then it like kind of actually like toughened up, because it wasn't like that speck wasn't like ousted from like the oyster. I'm also hearing that quote. I think it was like a Mike Tyson quote where he was saying something like the most precious things are always protected. Like, and he talks about clams being at the bottom of the oyster. It's like a pearl is inside of a clam shell, which is at the bottom of the sea, buried in the sand. Like, it's, you know, there's like kind of layers of protection. So if you've protected yourself here, I feel like this person is just noting your value. That's another thing that they would want to say here. Like, you're a very valuable person. I'm hearing things like, I'm sorry I didn't see it in the past, but it's not really that, because this person saw it in the past. So I think they're kind of dancing around why they did walk away. I keep hearing this person say like, I was out of my mind. Like, it doesn't make any logical sense. Like, this was actually crazy for me to like turn around on you the way that I did. And they were juggling. They made a choice. I feel like they chose a path away from you, whether they chose another person over you. And I'm kind of getting that with that song Traitor by Olivia Rodrigo. Guess you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor. And this 10 of Pentacles being in reverse, I feel like things are not going well in their life. And that's what they would tell you, is that whatever they built, like maybe they thought, I kind of am getting that they thought that they had built something, or it might look like they have something, you know, like family or stability or whatever, but it's like kind of turned on its head. There is like a kind of routine here and it's pretty entrenched, but They're saying that they can't win in that situation. That they would, I think they're saying that they would be judged in that situation for leaving. But I think that's also the way that they made you feel, was like judged or blocked off. Yeah, with the Ace of Cups, like they're saying that they have a lot of love for you. Maybe they feel like you wouldn't believe that, or like that they don't have any other way to get that message across to you, because there's this distance. But it's weird. It's like an intimate distance, because it's almost like I'm seeing the two of you like at the ends of like a hallway, but it's like sealed off kind of from the outside world. And then there's all these like kind of, like the tree rings, which kind of signifies time, between the two of you. But it's still this kind of intimate thing where like you guys are like separated out, but it's still kind of like sealed, but you're not like right up close. And so this person can't really like communicate this to you, but they would say that you're like maybe the love of their life for some of you, or like they have this like Ace of Cups. I think, well, what are they saying? I think they're talking about their other situation here. Oh my gosh. For some, they're saying like their wish fulfillment is to be married to you, basically. Okay. So they're saying that their wish fulfillment is to give you some type of key to unlock the door for you to like understand something about them, that you are their wish fulfillment, that they hold you in really high esteem. They find you to be super beautiful, like just very well-rounded. You're really coming through as that Nine of Cups, that wish fulfillment energy, but they're very like defensive about taking that risk here. Everything is kind of like fragmented. So this person feels safer keeping things kind of like fragmented, because I think they felt in competition, or because they don't want you to think that there's competition or something. Why do they feel safe keeping things kind of separated out? Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's reversals in this deck for some reason. We have the King of Cups and the Star card. It's because they love you a lot and they don't think that they're ever going to be able to be with you, or like kind of bridge this distance between you. So they're kind of keeping things a little bit like chopped up. And I just heard Chop Suey by Nirvana. Oh my gosh. Okay, so they feel like maybe like sending a message or something, it would change everything, but it would also kind of be like toxic. I think there's something about their situation that is a bit toxic. And also they don't know that you would accept their offer because of the way things ended in the past. Yeah, look, tower moment. They think that it's going to like cause a tower moment here. So there's like some level of disruption. But also I keep seeing the Magician card, and then we've got the Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So what is this sneaky energy? Maybe this person would be sneaking around to send you a message because they have another situation, even if it's not stable or going well. It's like that's why they don't want to send you a message or something, is because if it could also be that the roles are reversed, and it could be somebody here is like if that's your situation, don't reach out to me, because this might be somebody who's like really, really not okay with like the third party stuff. What is this sneaky energy that I keep picking up on here? Yeah, I mean, okay, so the energy on this keeps like flipping back and forth. So I do feel like this is a mirrored energy here in some way. Obviously, you know what happened in the original incident of your situation. And I keep hearing that song Traitor by Olivia Rodrigo. Yeah, it took you 2 weeks to go off and date her. Guess you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor. Like, and so somebody here's just really defensive about getting their heart broken again because they were really sweet or innocent or unexpecting or like something here. And they're learning. I feel like this is maybe your energy, because it feels like the energy just kind of flipped here. Or this could be your person. Take that however it resonates. But it's like somebody here's confused about the path forward. It's like there's something that happened in your journeys where it's like your paths can never meet again. It's like you're running in parallel lines. Like your lives are running like in parallel lines in some type of way. But yeah, something would really have to change in this situation. So what else would this person want to say? Let me get some true emotional cards here. What would pile number one's person want to say? Oh, System of a Down. Oh my gosh, massive regrets. GPS. Yeah, this person, okay, feels like, basically this person feels like they took the wrong path in life and they have a lot of regrets and they don't know how to navigate back to like the right area of their life. I actually think this is in a lot of areas of their life. I think they feel like they chose the wrong person, like something here, like I'm seeing a fork in the road and this person went like the wrong way, but it's like a lot of things in their life are kind of messed up with that 10 of Pentacles being in reverse. Like it feels like their house, their job, like something here is like kind of shifting under them and they have like a lot of regrets. Look, Jezebel's at the bottom of the deck. I'm not going to show you that picture in case YouTube has a problem with it, but maybe this person feels like they were a Jezebel, this guy, or that they went off like with some type of Jezebel, because it also could be that the person that they ended up with isn't the same person that they cheated on you with. And so like it could have been like a one night stand or something. It also could have been like something else. It took you 2 weeks to go off and date her. I guess you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor. This person might have a tattoo. It's neither here nor there. Look, too late. This person feels like it's too late. I'm kind of getting that too. Like it's too late to make sense of this because it feels like entropy is kind of already set in this connection. And even with the communication, it feels like this person waited too long to kind of communicate something. Look, love, hate. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of love in this situation. And I feel like with that Page of Cups, it was just like an open-heartedness that was coming from somebody here, like a sweetness and innocence, maybe even like a bit of a naivete. Like I just really trusted you fully. And this was like a slam on the brakes kind of experience of like, wait a second, there's more to people. Look, ashamed. I think that person didn't realize it. Okay. That's another thing is, so you might've been that sweet person that I was talking about where I'm not like, even if it wasn't overall in your life, I think that you just had this like Page of Cups, sweet, innocent, like trust in this person, or like you had no idea, like you were completely snowed by what you were confronted with here in this person. And they might be saying that they're ashamed by that. Yeah. It's hard to like communicate these things. I feel like this person's having like economical issues. What, I am hearing that song. It's like, if I had one wish, we would be best friends. Love would never end. It would just begin. Yeah, I think this person feels like they fell into a trap. I don't know that that's the entire story here. This person has agency and they might have been trying to pull some type of a fast one on you, which means there was strategy here. They could have fallen into some type of trap. That even could be recently, like maybe they fell into some type of trap with their job or something, but they're feeling bad. Like basically this person is just, they're feeling really bad. They feel like you're moving on. Oh my gosh, I lost it. But like the moving on card in this deck is a duck, but it's like full grown. Whereas the Page of Cups here was like a baby duck, but the duck is like full grown. So I feel like whoever it was that was like just very sweet, like they're a full grown duck now and they're like protective and all of that. So let me just get some more message cards. Well, okay, I'm reaching for this like Romeo and Juliet thing. Look, banishment. Rings. Solitude. Maybe somebody here's like going through a separation with someone. I can feel your level of trepidation here because I'm not fully trusting this person, like as they're kind of saying things. It's not that I don't think that they're telling the truth, because I do feel like this person's kind of telling the truth, but I also feel like they want something from you. Like they're wanting you to maybe feel sorry for them. And this is kind of maybe their way of trying to bridge the gap here. Yeah. Oath of the Moon, vow of love. It could be for some of you that this person's wanting to sneak around, to have something with you behind their person's back. Yeah. Romantic night. I'm kind of getting that. What else, Spirit? Revenge, punishment, compensation, counterattack. And the quote says, "Thy beauty hath made me effeminate, and in my temper softened valor's steel." Okay, I get that this person, oh my gosh. Okay. I feel like this might be the thing that this person was trying to like hide, and they almost looked like shocked here that I kind of found it. I feel like this person was trying to get revenge on you. And I think that you were very soft. And so they were trying to get revenge in some type of way. Remember at the beginning of this where they were kind of trying to keep things like scrambled a bit, and they were defending things because they don't think that if you had the full story that you would kind of believe them, like when they say that they love you. I feel like this person was trying to get revenge. They were trying to get punishment or some type of like recompense for their hurt. But this person has always loved you. Like this energy really turned on them because they always loved you and they always knew that they loved you. And they still love you basically. But, and then it says, thy beauty hath made me effeminate, and in my temper softened valor's steel. So you've really softened this person, like your approach. And I think it really kind of shocked this person. And now they want to pacify you and reassure you and clarify and persuade and identify the problem here. O deadly sin, O rude unthankfulness, this is dear mercy, and thou seest it not. Yeah, so you don't see this person for the way that they wish that you saw them, the way that because of what they did. And it seems like this involved a third party. It seems like it involved a betrayal of your heart. Took you 2 weeks to go off and date her. Guess you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor. You view this person as a traitor of your love, a traitor of your heart, a traitor of the goodwill between the two of you. And this person can't undo that. They don't know how to undo that. I think this person dreams of like having some like big romantic night. This isn't the kind of wound you're going to soften in a night. And frankly, this is kind of the person that I don't think would understand, like if they did manage to like, again, they have this like fantasy about sleeping with you. I think being soft and sweet and gentle and tender with you, but how that could still be violating if they don't actually go through the not so sexy time work of like expressing themselves and like being seen in the light of day. Like that could still feel very hurtful and very violating. Like for this person to, it's like they're still making this about them kind of is like what I don't like, because they get to enjoy sexy time too. You know, it's not just about you. It's not just about the hurt. It's like, I think this person, I think that what they would say to you is that they're realizing that this was a real love and that you never meant to hurt them. Like that you always had loving intentions towards them, and they sort of spilt the milk between you by chasing after some type of vengeance when they should not have. And now that they've realized their mistake, they want to correct what they did. But they don't really know how to do that. It's like, but they not just want to correct what they did, they want to partake in that love with you. They want what you were offering now, that they realize that you were offering that sweetness, that you were offering that love. But they feel banished, severing ties, protection from further injury. They see this very clearly, that you are protecting yourself and your heart from further injury, that there's something about this that wisened you up, but you lost a lot of innocence in the process. And you're not inclined to trust them. And I think this person's realizing what they had, not just in you, like the kind of love that the two of you had, but they had your trust. And like in the palm of their hand, they had it and they crushed it. And it's like they're trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. And it's like they're desperately trying to put the genie back in the bottle. They're desperately trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube. And they're kind of realizing that they can't, but they wish that they could. And they're kind of hovering around your energy because they're like, oh my gosh, that was real love. You know, there it was. It's like, you know, that's like this person's kind of realizing it, but they crushed it. And I think this person's having a hard time accepting that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Prince Iscalus. I'm sorry. I'm not like too Shakespearean. That's his name. Protection, kindness, undertake. I will be deaf to pleading and excuses, nor tears, nor prayers shall purchase out abuses. Yeah, it's like there's nothing that they can do, nor tears, nor prayers shall purchase out abuses. There's nothing that they can do to purchase away their abuses of you. Reject, firm rejection. So I think that you've firmly rejected this person. I think you firmly rejected their antics. I think you've seen through this person, because I think you were thinking, oh, look, like we have a love here. And then you kind of realize that this person is out playing games, trying to stomp on your heart to make a point instead of, you know, you've seen through this person. So this person's scared and they're sad. They think that it's too late. This person's trying to seek out some type of help. I do feel a desperation coming off this person, but I do sort of think that this has changed kind of, I hate to say forever, but I feel like it's kind of something about you. I mean, you are still holding on to the love like a little bit, but it's just a little bit. Like there is a part of you that has changed forever in regards of this. So it would never be the same. Like the love that was on offer before, like the fullness of it, the totality of it, like it's just, that's like not there. This person's thinking that they can like flirt and seduce you, or that's what they're wanting to do. But it's like, they're not trying to manipulate, you know, but that's what they're doing. And I can see that it's because of this person's ignorance and their lack of wisdom, their lack of wholeness, their lack of understanding of social emotional matters. It's the same kind of devil on their shoulder that got them into this mess to begin with. And it's weird because there's a certain type of intellect here that this person gets. And I can't tell which type it is. Is it Mercury? Is it Mars? But I can tell you what it's not, and it's not Venus. Venus that is harmonious and peaceful and loving and well-rounded and kind of thinks things through before it does it. And it thinks through in like a holistic way. Whereas like this person, there was a kind of intellect in whatever it was that they did. They thought that they were going to get what they wanted out of the situation with some type of, power or dominance, or they thought they were going to get what they wanted, vengeance. I think this person thought that they wanted vengeance. Why did they, I'm not seeing anything that you did like so bad in this for them to get vengeance. Unrequited love. I just asked that. Why did they want vengeance? They felt like you had unrequited love. And now this person realizes that you had very pure love. That's why they didn't recognize it, is because there was not a trace of like strategy or harm or selfishness in the love that you were offering. Like you were just, my mouth was open, Albert. It's like, they didn't recognize it. Yeah, I'm hearing maybe that's why you didn't recognize it, is because it was like, it was pure and like accept the pain, fulfill your needs in other ways. So I think this person was like, I just need to accept the pain and fulfill my needs in other ways. This person felt hurt by you. They felt wounded by you. I can see this person in this position. Like I just see this person doing this the entire reading. Like might as well just keep this up here. This is the entire energy that they're in. Like, look at his like hand to the other side here where you can kind of see his thumb where he's like, what? Like, what? Like, it's like, oh, and then it's like, what? Like the entire time. And he's like, see the tension like in the face too. Like they are kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe I was like that stupid. Like, I can't believe that I was thinking that about that person. But yeah, they thought that it was unrequited love and that they needed to accept the pain and fulfill their needs in other ways. Tut, I have lost myself. I am not here. This is not Romeo. He is some other where. So yeah, so they shut off the love. And that's when they started operating from vengeance and they started maneuvering around. Ew, secret help. They could have gotten some type of secret help. Keeping secrets, anonymous goodwill. For this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household's rancor to pure love. Yeah. I feel like it took you 2 weeks to go off and date her. Guess you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor. This person's a traitor in love. And this is the kind of person where it takes Venus is, when it's healthy, Venus is a benefic. It's well-rounded. There's a wisdom that comes with Venus. It's not just the planet. Well, Venus is the planet of love, but Venus is one of the spiritual teachers here. Like there's a wisdom that always comes with Venus. You have to be wise to partake in love, like fair and equal love. And I just don't think that this person is, or they definitely were not in the past, because they kind of view it from this, like, I'm seeing like, a serpent, like kind of on the ground. Not that this person's like snaky like that, although I'm kind of getting this like maneuvering like a snake if the shoe fits, is what I'm hearing. If the shoe fits, one very long shoe for a snake, I guess. But, it's like that animalistic, like law of the jungle, tit for tat kind of a thing that this person was operating from, but it's definitely not like from a place of wisdom. And I think this person is maybe learning that now. That's maybe the gift of this connection, as much as painful as it is to level this person up into a well-roundedness. I think what they're learning is like, there are certain things you cannot take back. So before you go impulsively breaking things that cannot be put back together, you need to really think. Now, all of a sudden, you know what I think this is too? It's like all of the healthy behaviors that you have that are of Venus, right? Healthy conversations, one-to-one conversations, fair conversations. So having that conversation in good faith, not lying and manipulating and making things up and distorting things. Being able to admit like, well, this is the way that I was feeling, but I can see that the facts are actually different. So I need to kind of update my feelings in the situation to match the reality of the situation. Being able to do that, I think all of a sudden, this person understands the value of it, because you really should go through all of those steps before you break something that you cannot unbreak. And they're kind of realizing like, oh, those aren't just nice things to do in a relationship. It's like there are genuinely things that will break, and you can't get it back. The things worth having, the things that are precious. So this person learned a big, big lesson here. But they're hesitant to say that because this person really is still holding out on hope that they can fix this. Okay. And I just asked if they could, and the World card came up. So I feel like you have ended a karmic cycle with this person where I think you needed to realize that they were not on the same page as you. They were not operating on the same level of consciousness that you were. I do think that maybe you're soulmates with this person. Like maybe, you have a lot in common or something here, but this person is not on the same page. They definitely weren't in the past. So you've learned what you needed to learn from this. And you've learned, I think what you were learning is how to protect yourself with that pearl energy. You're learning that you are sensitive. and I think maybe you were the one always making like concessions because you were giving love. And that's what love kind of does, right? It gives elasticity. It's, oh, I understand, and you give the person the benefit of the doubt. This person, trust me when I say they did not give you the benefit of the doubt. This person made some type of snap judgment and it was in the worst possible light when it came to you. Meanwhile, look at the way this person's kind of maneuvering. They didn't really look at themselves and they're like, and here I sit with a dagger in my hand, waiting to enact vengeance on this person for not loving me. And I could have a conversation, but instead I'm judge, jury, and executioner. Like, so they have karma here to learn what love is, to learn love is what love does, to learn how love moves, to learn how love like acts. So I do feel like there's some type of karma. And I think we were talking about it at the beginning. I think they might be getting their karma. Like it feels like the bottom is kind of falling out, the soggy taco kind of phenomenon here, where maybe everything looks great. Like it looks like there's, it's really stable and there's like that 10 of Pentacles. But this person maneuvers. I don't think this is necessarily a bad person. They definitely meant to hurt you, but I can see this is more like they felt emotionally hurt and then they tried to hurt you. They were lashing out kind of thing. This isn't a person that just has no emotions and tries to hurt you. Tasha, thank you so much for the super chat. All this kind of confirms what I've been thinking. Yeah. I cannot see the lies being an addiction. Yeah. Yeah. So like this person definitely was trying to hurt you. I think they might be a step above somebody who like is hurting you for some type of sadistic impulse. I think this person wanted some kind of recompense for their hurt when they felt like you didn't love them. I don't know what it was that made them feel like you didn't love them. Okay. What I'm getting is that you're showing up as the 9 of Pentacles. So I just think that the 9 of Pentacles is like a single card. Maybe you were single. I don't know. Maybe you were dating this person, but it's an independent card. It's somebody who's like independent financially. Like I feel like you had your own little life. So this person was like kind of observing that. They could have, also this person could have been like online observing somebody else. Like if you guys were together, like they could have been observing somebody else and that person was like very single and seemed like they had a lot going on and they did want that person. So for some, that's like part of the painful ending where it's like, gotcha, So I don't know. This person has a long way to go. They have to be honest with themselves about exactly what went on here. Why did they? Like it could be that, I don't know. They could have made this entire thing up in their head about like between you and another person or something. But they need to really get to the bottom of why they were the way that they were. Because this person still feels shifty, like they're uncomfortable with their own truth about what played out here and taking that full responsibility because they feel like they might not get what they want. And I actually feel you not wanting a relationship with this person because at the very least, this person's very volatile. They don't have healthy relationship hygiene. Where if they have a problem, I don't think that you could trust this person to be mature about it. And them not being mature about it means they try to enact vengeance upon you. And so that's really scary. I think that they've learned from this experience, but I don't know that they've learned how to navigate their inner world. And they have karma basically. And so that karma has become a blockage between them and you. And I feel this person trying to reach around that blockage and try to get to you without first engaging with their karma. And it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. And I think you already know that. So I do think this person, they love you, but their love is a bit fickle. It's a bit testy. It's a bit skittish, and it needs to not be. And it needs to be wiser and it needs to be more mature. And that's the path that Spirit has this person on. So that they're a big dog instead of like a little yappy dog, like they're a big dog in love. And they don't exactly see the importance of that because this is a person who is kind of very short-sighted in love and in their life. And I don't think they have a very high pain tolerance, like emotional pain tolerance. And so I think they just quickly try to balance the scales for themselves. But I think it leads to these big kind of blunders. I think it might lead them to hurting good people that are really safe people because they're not afraid to lash out at you. If this person, I think a big thing for this person to learn is if they're not scared to lash out at you, you're a safe person. And so they really need to question if they have the dagger in their hand and they're in attack mode. I think it's more likely than not that they're attacking a safe person, because I kind of am getting this skittish energy off this person. I don't think they would attack the big dog, who's maybe actually the problem. Yeah, it's more to do with some type of cowardice like coming off this person. And that's all a part of their karmas that they have to work through. So they would say a lot, but I think you have to be careful and filter out what this person says, which you seem to already be doing, because I feel like I feel like you're sitting right here asking questions that are kind of filtering the things that this person's saying, because you know the things to push. You know what it is that you're looking for to feel safe in this. And you're right. This person's not coming back around. They do love you. But again, like, I think for you, you're like, their love has been very skittish in the past. And, you know, it took you 2 weeks to go off and date her. Guess you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor. It's very fickle. It's very like hop, skip, and a jump. Let me just out of this into that kind of thing. And that puts you at a lot of risk. So, okay, I think I'm going to leave that there. Pile number 1, that person has a lot to say at the wrong time. Definitely, I'm getting that it's at the wrong time. Because if they said it at the right time, it would have cleared everything up. And there would be no karma here between the two of you. But that's not what happened. Okay. He wouldn't attack the big dog, definitely. Okay, so we'll put this back up here. This is our choosing panel of cards. We just did the seed, and we are moving on to Kairos, right smack dab in the middle. So if you are just joining us, and if you picked pile number 2, then you have excellent timing. We're right there with you. All right, let me just compassion this space. This isn't love. He's a dangerous person. Yeah. All right. Let me get some lip gloss. Hello. Spiritual illiteracy. Yeah. Okay. So let us move to pile number 2. And let's bunny butt around pile number 2. Bunny butt, bunny, bunny, bunny butt, bunny butt. I'm so sorry if I just bonked the microphone. Bunny butt, bunny, bunny, bunny butt. It looks like the eye is like, what is happening? Okay. Pile number 2. They don't know how to be in a relationship. They're very self-deceptive, so I can't expect them to be honest with me. Yeah. Okay, so pile number 2. All right, Spirit. I was already kind of channeling a little bit for this, but I want to pull some cards here first. Okay, so Spirit, let's see. Hold on. I almost feel like this person doesn't want to be seen, because I kind of want to ask who this person is. I feel like this might have something to do with gossip, because I grabbed for this like gossip deck, the what's the gossip. But okay, so let me just see, like, who is this person? Can I ask this deck? We'll see. Who is this person? And what do they want to say to you? What a treat for all who just clicked on to see the rear of our little bunny. What a treat. Okay, so who is this person for pile number 2, and what do they want to say? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, so what I'm getting, yeah, I feel like this person kind of doesn't want to be seen. They want to be kind of like a ghost in the room, or like a fly on the wall. But they're kind of trying to peek in to like your life or your existence. So I don't know if you put up some type of boundary, and that doesn't have to be like, you like have actually left this person. Like, it could just be that you've turned your back. And some of you maybe have done this in a very tactful way as well. And maybe you don't even quite realize that you're doing it, but there's something here like kind of about this person that you just kind of maybe focused on other aspects of your life. But this person's kind of trying to peek in on your existence. And it's because they've had some type of wake-up call. And I feel like that wake-up call has been like a divine intervention. But it feels like very sudden or very shocking, because it is that kind of symbolism of this person was like asleep at the wheel in some way. And then something that's gone on here, it was like it snapped this person awake. And whatever that was, it was this kind of like divine intervention. Yeah, okay, so it has to do with this two-faced energy. Says one thing, does another, betrayal behind kindness, pretends loyalty, trust carefully. That's in quotation marks, like trust this person carefully. Maybe that's something that you said, or maybe that was the gossip, like this person overheard people saying that about them, like you can't really trust this person. So it could be that they are actually two-faced, that they say one thing and do another. So for some of you, this person, like, now there's a whole spectrum, okay? So for some of you, maybe they are realizing that you found out that they're two-faced. I'm actually getting that that's a smaller group here. I actually feel like this person might realize, like, wait a second, I've been saying one thing and doing another. And I think this person maybe really didn't realize that they were doing this. Look, boundary. So so right now I'm not really getting that this person wants to say much to you. I think that they're actually like really observing. But it could have had something to do with like a text message. I know this says ghosted. Okay, sudden disappearance without explanation, left hanging, seen but ignored, abrupt silence. And I'm just kind of getting, there could have been like text messages or something. So maybe one of those things happened, like you suddenly disappeared and like you didn't say anything, maybe just like left the room to like go to the bathroom. You know, I'm feeling tact with this group, actually, that you've carried yourself in some type of tactful, very graceful, mature type of way. You're trying not to rock the boat. You're trying not to come at this person with accusations, but at the same time, something here does need to change because they say one thing and do another. Or there's a group that's maybe very divided. It's something to do with this two-faced energy. Maybe they hang out with somebody that's very two-faced, but in hanging out with that person, they have not been cohesive in their actions towards you. So the boundaries thing is really up for grabs. If this person doesn't have healthy boundaries with someone who's two-faced, your boundaries need to adjust, don't they? And maybe they have. And maybe you didn't even mean for it to. Like, you didn't consciously think through it. It's just like you protecting your peace is what I'm getting, or something here. So I feel this person is kind of trying at the very least to kind of look in and see what you're doing, because I feel like iced out is too much of a term for this, but they feel like blocked in some type of way, kind of like you are gray rocking, but I feel like you still do kind of love this person, but they feel kind of blocked. And I'm seeing them with their one eye here, kind of peeking in, and they're kind of looking around, and I'm seeing them get like a surface level view of stuff. So I feel like they can't really see much about what it is that you're doing. So this is like somebody who maybe sees you on social media, and they see like that you posted that you went to a concert the other day, or you went out to this restaurant with somebody. Like, they're just seeing like the surface of the things that you're posting. And I'm seeing their eyebrow like go up and down, like kind of like, you know, like it, like darting around, and it looks like frustrated and confused and a bit like kind of, you know, panicked, but it also feels like this kind of connecting the dots, but it also feels like on a very kind of surface level situation for this person, and they're trying to kind of make sense of it, but they do kind of feel blocked out. Again, I'm not really getting that they're trying to say much of this. I feel like they more want to listen and observe. And I think if this person did say certain things, they kind of know that they would put their foot in it, because I feel like you already have a boundary up. And again, for some of you, I don't think you actually sat down and set a boundary with this person. I think that you just have naturally pulled away because their boundaries aren't okay, or because there has been some type of divine intervention, or because they were two-faced with you. Like, they said that they said one thing and they do another, and maybe they have a pattern of doing this. So I think you feel like this person's a good person, but they say one thing and they do another. And it's just not something that you really want to be around. At least for now, you could have like just really pulled back. But this person is seeing something here. They're seeing like the way that they thought things were, it wasn't that way, and it's kind of changing. And maybe they're even like kind of able to see things kind of like over time. But I'm actually getting that it's you or it's somebody else around you that has like a depth perception in this situation, but I don't think they had it at first. And I think for a lot of you, I'm describing you, or it could be like a group of people that you're dealing with, somebody who has kind of been around this person. But it's like at first, like when you first met this person, or you first started hanging out with this person, you didn't exactly see a depth into their life, into their personality. So you kind of took them at face value, right? But then this says one thing, does another kind of energy, betrayal behind kindness, pretends loyalty, trust carefully. Like that energy you kind of learned over time as you saw deeper and deeper into, like you gained depth perception. Because at first you only had a superficial view, but I feel like that's because you were just acquainted with this person. Like you literally just met them. And so you kind of took their word for it, like their narration of their life or of a certain situation. For some, I think it has to do with a living situation. And like maybe their roommate or like something like that, or what they do in the living situation. And like you could have caught this person out in some type of lie where it's like, you don't actually have to be doing that. Or like you've just seen deep enough into the situation where you have like a lot of variables. You've noticed like certain patterns. You actually have you actually have like information, you have data, and you're like, that's like, you're an unreliable narrator. The way that you represent things is convenient for you, and it allows you to get away with this like two-faced, like saying one thing, does another thing. And maybe that's what this person would say to you. Maybe the energies are flipped. I don't know. Take this however it resonates. But I'm picking up on it whatever way that I'm kind of, picking up on it here. But so it's just a boundary. There's some type of boundary. But again, one person, I think, who has been on the receiving end of this boundary, they're looking around. I think they're confused, and I think that they're feeling frustrated. I think that they're wanting to be able to say something here, but they say one thing and they do another. So I feel something here is like changed. It's like very much altered, where there's not much stock put in this person's words anymore. I think that there's maybe like some keeping of the peace, but is it going to shift the needle? No, because the saying one thing and doing another, you should always go with their actions. Like what their actions are is the thing that means the most. And so I think that's something that's kind of gone on here. Look, wake up call. Spiritual awakening, sudden clarity, urgent awareness. Can't ignore this anymore. There's like been this alarm clock that's gone off. You cannot ignore this anymore. And that is this like divine intervention energy that's like really gone on here. And it could be that spirit is trying to remove somebody outside of a pattern that's very negative. And I'm kind of getting that somebody here might not mean to hurt people, but they hang out with someone who does. And they'll never put a boundary on that person. So people just get hurt around that person. And spirit is like either reaching in and pulling this person and saying, yep, you've learned everything you need to learn. You no longer are going to get hurt by this. We're moving you. And that's waking somebody else up. They're like, oh my gosh, like this is the way it's going to go. I think this is the first domino to go, to be honest, because I think people are going to start turning away from this person because it's like this somebody here has themselves in a position where the only people that are going to be around them are going to suck. They're going to be two-faced people. If this person is like friends with a two-faced person and not learning to put their boundaries up on that person, or if they are the two-faced person, like people are just aware of it. Like it's just the cat's out of the bag, basically. Look, okay, so this is overnight success, but it says sudden recognition. I feel like somebody here suddenly got it. Like there was something that they saw and it allowed them to see deeper into a situation and they suddenly got something. So I don't know like which side you're looking from, because I think for some of you, maybe you are the person who's kind of like locked out, and what they would say to you is like, look, I only had like a cursory understanding of the situation before, but as time went on and as I was around more and I had more experiences and I had more data coming in from the situation, I suddenly saw from a deeper lens and I saw what was going on here, and I need to put up a boundary because there's a two-faced energy here that's coming off of you or it's coming off of another person. If it's coming off of another person and you've been told about this other person, they're saying, you no longer get to say it's from that other person because you have also been two-faced. In this situation, you've said one thing and have done another. And it's sus. Like your interactions with this other person, it's less I'm a victim and it's more I know what I'm doing and I'm trying to gain some type of control. Like I'm playing both sides against the middle. There's something sus. Like somebody here is like, no, and it's not going to go on. Like somebody here just like has a very strong boundary. And for some, I'm getting that if it's going that way, right, and you're the one kind of on the outside, I think for some of you, this person doesn't really even trust you not to play the victim. Like if they were to bring their concerns, because somebody here might be used to blaming this other actual two-faced person, even though they're a grown adult. And it's like, why don't you handle your business? ? For some of you, there's something here about age that is playing into the equation as well, where like this person who has a healthy boundary might be younger and less experienced than somebody who should know better and should actually be leading the way in healthy relationships and healthy behaviors, but is like emotionally mature or something like that. But again, for most of you, I think that you are kind of pulled away here. Yeah, okay, I just looked down and saw this. Like something here might be too late because of there's a pattern here. There's like a deeper pattern. Yeah, inner child wound. I feel like somebody here put up a boundary so that they could heal their inner child wounds, connect with joy, playfulness restored, and return to innocence. It was stressing somebody out to have to deal with something here. Because look, energy vampire, draining connections, toxic influence, protect your energy. It's time to cut cords. So somebody here is just cutting cords with draining energy. And they really don't need to explain it to anybody here, because I don't think this person has felt like their pain has mattered or like that they're being taken seriously. Yeah. They also might have like a lot coming up on their calendar, or it says like success is on the calendar. So this person is like going to be successful. So look, and self-care, this person is like just decided to take care of themselves. So I think for a lot of you, you are that person who has decided to take care of yourself. And this person is feeling frantic. They have a lot that they would want to say. I feel this person plays the victim, like, and I feel like they can be very passive. And so they're not going to want to say things that they might blame you, you know, for things kind of petering out, like, oh, you just never ever called me again, you know? And it's like, I don't know. I don't really like this. Yeah, like no accountability. Somebody here, I think, kind of doesn't take accountability. I don't know. Okay, so I feel like whoever's on the inside, it's like whoever's like on the inside of some type of boundary. And again, it might not even be a very firm boundary or something that was expressly set, but that person is like, I'm going to succeed. I'm going to have self-care. I'm going to have peace. That's on period. I'm going to have those things. And so my boundary will be where it needs to be. And it's not personal. I feel like I've given a lot of chances here, or like I was under the impression, I believed what you said before. Like I believed like your version of events. But then something happened. It clicked in for me and it was like divinely guided. And I realized that this wasn't at all the way that you were painting it, and that I needed to readjust where my boundaries are. And so I moved away. I had to choose me, kind of a thing. The person on the outside is very frustrated and very confused that this boundary was set, because they aren't seeing very deeply, but this person has incentive not to see very deeply into themselves and into their patterns. And, but it feels like for them, they're like, oh shit, I got to change this around like very quickly. Look, sugar coated. Sweet but deceptive words, empty compliments, hidden insults, too good to be true. I actually feel like the person on the outside could be like insulting of the person on the inside, but in this like hidden sort of way. There's that two-faced energy, and that explains why they hang out with that two-faced person. But they could be projecting onto this other person. Like, oh, like you act like you're sweet, but then like you cut people out, because this person, what that really is entitlement, because you do have a right to set your boundaries somewhere. And this person's basically saying that. That you don't have a right to put your boundaries wherever. And this is the kind of person who would weaponize some type of social code. It's very covert tactics coming off of this person. They would weaponize some type of social code. So like you just doing what you need to do. This is why they tell you to gray rock with certain people, is because they are going to weaponize some type of social code. Now, whether that's girl code, like you guys are friends and you're supposed to, you know, always do this or always do that. I feel like this person kind of knows that they look bad in the situation. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I keep getting this. Whoever's like on the outside, I think that they have been running defense. This is like a mole, somebody that's like kind of underground, that they gossip in a way that seems sweet or like maybe concerned, but they'll plant little seeds of doubt that are untrue about you or anybody else to protect themselves, to make themselves always look like the victim. So they've been doing that, and they'll drop little things that seem, the way that they speak, it seems kind of sweet, or it seems very considerate. Like, I knew it was too good to be true, or I knew this or that, taking no accountability, none whatsoever, for this long-standing pattern, because I think they're just used to people not seeing very deeply beyond the surface of things. And it feels wrong to them because it's upsetting their status quo. It feels wrong to them when people actually see deeply, but they also may have covert contracts with certain people where it's like, I don't call you on your bullshit, you don't call me on my bullshit, and therefore our bullshit just kind of like continues. But certain people are always on the receiving end of that, and I feel like they just had enough. Yeah, they could be really projecting outwards onto whoever like pushed this boundary. I wouldn't be surprised if gossip is like a big thing, but the way that this person gossips, I think that they gossip in a way where they play the victim, and they're like, I knew it was too good to be true, or they act like they're being like very caring or something like that. Look, triggered. Deep fake, triggered. This person is two-faced. I think that they like to think that it's other people that are two-faced, but it's really them. Look, deep fake, convincing lies, altered truths, virtual deception, seeing is no longer believing, triggered emotional reactions, unresolved wounds, facing past hurts. This person is getting triggered by the situation, who's like on the outside, because they have refused to deal with this pattern, and all of a sudden something's happened, and it's like a sense of urgency. Look, behind the mask, they're definitely behind, like, there's been 3 references to masks here, of like two-faced, deep fake, and behind the mask. 3 references to wearing masks. So this person's mask is like very, very deep, and I kind of feel like I called out every single one of them, because this is very, I'm not diagnosing this person, okay, but this is very covert narcissist. Even if it's like subclinical levels of covert narcissism, this is very covert narcissist. This is very covert tactics, you know, like, or this person, they probably do have a sad story, because covert narcissists are collapsed narcissists. This kind of came out in another reading. I don't know if it's come out on the channel yet or on Patreon, but so they feel very They feel just very triggered. And I think this person likes to put on some type of show, but they might be accusing somebody else of doing this. Look, they've got a hidden agenda. This person kind of gives, This person gives in order to receive. They act nice in order to receive. This is a very manipulative pattern. And I think that you've caught on to it. Maybe some of you have caught on to something you don't even realize the depth of what you've caught on to, but it's causing a frustration and an upset within a person, or like, I definitely think that there's gossip, because gossip would be a big tool of this two-faced person. That's how they would maintain it. Because they're not going to represent this situation and what's going on here truthfully. They won't, because they would have to acknowledge that you are sane and that you were reacting to something truthful, and they can't do that without drawing attention and curiosity and questions around them and their behavior. And so it's really going to come down to like their own selfishness and like protecting that versus real love, and actual consideration and being a friend and, all those things. And I really don't think this person's got it in them, because I don't think they're a real friend. I don't think whatever they perform, it's just that. It's a performance. And this stuff like right here, we'll get down to the brass tacks of who this human being really is. And they just can never accept accountability. They can never accept accountability. So you are ascending. Yeah. Spiritual growth, higher awareness, next level consciousness, and elevating myself. This person does have an elevated consciousness because they are aware of these like patterns. They're very aware of that now. But they're wanting to reinvent themselves, maybe, is what they would tell you. But is it true? Shadow work. They have to do their shadow work. And they're scared to look at their shadow. They have to face their hidden fears. They have to explore darker emotions. They have to accept their imperfections, and they have to meet their darker self. They have to admit, I have a darker self. It moves beneath the surface. That shocks none of us, right? But, and then they have to like go through something. This person could turn it around, but they do have a lot that they're afraid of, and I don't know. So what does this person want to say? Not much, because they're kind of looking for what they could say to manipulate you into doing the thing that they want you to do, into seeing them in the old way that you've seen them, but that it's never going to happen. And so I think they're kind of quiet. This person has to learn to focus on their actions and not their words, because they have sugar-coated words. They know the right things to say. This person, that's their big thing, is they have to focus on their actions. Only their actions will fix this. Only their actions speak. And they're uncomfortable with that because their actions have not been in alignment with the things that they say. This person has been two-faced, or they have protected somebody who's two-faced, which makes them two-faced by proxy. Because in order to do that, they would have to be lying. They're a turncoat. This person's essentially a turncoat. They'll play both sides of the aisle. And I think this person, I don't know. You could have left this person on red or something, and to take care of yourself. Like this is you, like you're just like self-care Sunday in the bath with your cucumbers, and you're just kind of taking care of yourself. And this person is like, meanwhile, going through their shadow work. But what do they want to say to you? They want to say something manipulative that's going to make it to where they don't have to change their behavior. They don't have to look at any of the scary stuff. They can continue to be a turncoat, and that's not going to work anymore. So instead, they're just being quiet and they're observing, but they are observing without depth perception, which I think also means that they're not looking inside of themselves to their shadow, which means they're not seeing the full picture. And they're getting themselves all riled up because they can't admit, like, actually, some of that's true. If not all of it's true. And it needs to be acknowledged. And of course, it's hurt people. And there's something wrong with that I say something that I don't actually back up with my actions. And that is the crux of me driving this person away. And they're right, like this is correct. This pattern is correct. And it needs to be, what are my actions saying here? So, okay, that is pile number 2. Yeah, that is pile number 2. I'm hearing that vampire. A lot of Olivia Rodrigo. I've been listening to her stuff because she had that new single that was out, but Vampire just came out. And I sometimes it confuses me when it comes out kind of at the end of a pile, but I think it was like for pile number 2. Yeah, there was one. Isn't it, it was strange, you only come out at night. Yeah. The way you sold me for parts. And that's kind of what this person does. They chop things up in order to be that turncoat. They say one thing over here. They tell you that they're going to do something over here, but then their actions never line up with that because they betray you over here with this other person. And they're this turncoat. They're this constant turncoat. Okay. All right. So we'll put this back up here. And we're getting ready to go to pile number 3, which is the Orphan. And we've already done the other 2 piles, the Seed and Kairos. All right. Imagine Jess is so tapped in. I used the word traitor. My foot is asleep. Okay. So let us compassion. Compassion. Rose water. All right. Should I refresh my gloss? Yeah. I use Judas in my phone. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Okay, so pile number 3, the Orphan. And we'll bunny butt. Oh, Catherine, thank you so much for the super chat. You so deserve more. You process so much for us. Thank you. And a little bit of bunny tail. Bunny, bunny, bunny butt. Bunny, bunny butt. Bunny, bunny, bunny butt. Bunny, bunny butt. That was the most overt. Like, it was like we got a tip and then like the bunny had to shake its little butt. And I'm so sorry if you felt like, you know, used. Dang, oh dang. She thought she was doing something good because she thought I was a mean girl. So she sold me out to the mean girl. Big booty beaches. Okay. So let us move to pile number 3, the Orphan. Okay, I haven't actually channeled anything for this one. I'm just going to move some of this out of the way. Okay, so pile number 3, Spirit. Who is pile number 3's person? We'll ask that. Who is pile number 3's person and what do they want to say? Who's pile number 3's person? I'm hearing the ambulance in the background. So that could be a sign for somebody here. Archangel Michael. Also, like, I have a neighbor that drives an ambulance. I don't really know for like what company or whatever, but it's illegal to do, but I swear he puts on his sirens just to get home sooner. I've seen him do that on multiple occasions. I'm just throwing that out there. So that might mean something for somebody. Where they're acting like something's an emergency, but just so they can get something done quicker. Okay, that's neither here nor there. Okay, so who is this person for pile number 3? Who is this person for pile number 3? Ooh, Ace of Swords. This person wants to come through with the truth. Oh, look, 4 of Wands. Okay, this person does have like kind of a Uranus energy. I'm a little bit suspicious of this, but just because of the snake energy, I'm hearing like I was only acting out like in the moment. I feel like this person is there. It's like they're coming through with this big thunderbolt of truth about this, like the 4 of Wands energy. So some type of party, some type of 2 of Cups, something that happened at a party. Okay, so okay, what'd they say to you? This is like a confession. I feel like this is a confession, and I feel like it's been a long time coming because I actually feel like this person feels like very small on the inside, and they were like protecting their like inner child or their inner self, but this doesn't exactly feel healthy. So I feel like it's good for this person to kind of like exercise this and like kind of get it off their chest. But they want to tell you the truth. It feels like a big deal for this person to tell the truth. It also, this feels emotional and it feels like it's all coming out at once. Like if I were to take like a big rock and to just like throw it into the water and it would make like a big kind of splash. It's like everything is kind of like there all at one time, you know? It's not like they're going to, you know, chew it up into little bites and give it to you like one at a time so you can kind of digest it. No, this is what they were saying happened in the moment. Like, so when they had this big, because there's some type of moment here where this person like acted out, and I'm seeing that scene in what is it? Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. One of them, I think it was like the second one. It was the one where Carmen who is played by America Ferrera, her dad like left her and her mom, and he really wasn't around. But then he comes back into her life because he met this new woman who is like the opposite day of Carmen and her mom and their little family, because they have like a Mexican heritage, and it's they're like, it's very ethnic and everything. But then this woman is like blonde and from the suburbs and has these two like blonde kids who are like on the honor roll and everything. And so she sees her dad kind of, playing out like this house with this family. They're like all eating at the table, and there's a scene where she takes like a brick or something and like throws it through the wall because she just didn't have the words. She felt hurt, and her dad was confused because he was trying to kind of bring her into his life, but just kind of sucks with kids and emotions and stuff in general. But she was extremely hurt, and just like through the rock. Something like that happened with this person, and I'm not saying it's like, maybe they threw a rock or something, but I'm just getting like whatever this person did, and it feels like it had to do with like a person, like some type of love situation or whatever, like at a party. It was like a big emotion, and it was like a metaphorical version of them like kind of throwing this rock and kind of like ricocheting this like hurt, because they maybe, I don't know, like they could have seen somebody here, like if this is a third party that we're tapping into here, like they could have seen this masculine who has a lot of love here, looking at you, and they felt like you were winning or something, or that you were better than them, or they felt, oh yeah, because this would be Saturn sitting right in that fifth house of romance. So they felt like there was some type of obstacle in the way of like some type of romance, or it could have something to do with children. It could have something to do with children. Like this could be somebody who, that's also kind of what I was getting, like, oh, I was just protecting myself and my inner child. It could be that this person was like, no, I'm protecting myself and like some type of child here. But they could have seen like, okay, well, you didn't want to have like a happy family with us. And I think this person has maybe emotional issues, if I'm being honest. So it could be like you did want to have a happy family, but this person can never admit that they were the problem, or at least they have significant problems that were like contributing to certain things. And so things can never be calm. Things can never be peaceful. You can never have like an actual calm conversation, because the emotionality, regardless of whether it was attached to reality or not, like it would just kind of blow up in certain things. So it could be that you genuinely tried with this person and then you've moved on since, but you still share a child with somebody, and then they tried to throw a rock at your family and like besmirch like you. They could have gossiped about you, they could have talked mad shit about like you and like your person or whatever, or they tried to sabotage something here. I don't know. There's a lot of pentacles now. So I think this person is admitting that they did something wrong, basically, and they're admitting like the emotionality behind it, and that they felt like they were gonna win, or they felt like you were gonna win. And I think they cloaked everything here behind like some type of defense, but this feels like an emotional defense. This feels very ego defense mechanism territory. The ego felt under threat in some way in this person. Who is this? Who is this? Okay, so, okay. Well, I saw, wait. Oh, I got it again. No, I lost it. Oh, I just had it and then I close it again. Okay, so that's telling me that like maybe you'll like somewhat get a hold of this person, but then not, or they'll sometimes get it and then not. Like it's kind of like very splotchy, but it was the Knight of Cups that kept coming out. So I feel like this person was in a delusional state, is what they're saying. They had some type of fantasy, and not all fantasies are good fantasies, like floating on cloud nine kind of fantasies. You can have negative kind of fantasies, and it could be that this person had some type of like fantasy here. Like that was going on, and then like suddenly the bubble burst, or like maybe it didn't or something here. I don't know. And I felt like something here like needed to change, or you did, or it could have been this is a person that you had a big fantasy around, and then you kind of realized that something here needed to change, and you stood in your strength. Yeah, I'm actually kind of getting that. You were realizing that you had a fantasy about this person. It wasn't true to life or something here. And you felt like you needed to move on. And so you like made some type of firm decision. And this person, I think, took that very personally in all the wrong ways. Like they didn't take it personally of like, this is a wake up call. I need to actually shift. I need to really look at myself. And they lashed out. It's like war. It feels like war. Okay. What would this person say? What does this person want to say? It's funny because tapping into who this person is actually very difficult. The one thing that's like coming through is that they do want to tell the truth now, but it feels like this kind of, it's like they laid an egg, but like they laid this huge egg. That's the rock, like they just laid this huge egg kind of a thing. And that's the only thing that they're sure about now is like, okay, this truth that they have to kind of You know, this isn't for everybody. I'm not diagnosing anybody, but I listen to a lot of Professor Sam Vaknin. He is like an expert on narcissism. He wrote like a lot of the original books and stuff. And I kind of dip in and out of listening to him, but I was listening to him recently and he was talking about the difference between the inner self-image for a narcissist and a borderline and how it's different. And like for borderline is sometimes called failed narcissism because a narcissist has like built itself up trying to avoid the predicament of being a borderline, because with a borderline everything's kind of very emotional and they have to like attach themselves to certain people to try to like regulate themselves, whereas the narcissist doesn't want to be like beholden to that. So their false self is active at all times, the narcissist. But for a borderline, their false self isn't active at all times. They have a real self that they're acquainted with, and they have a false self, and the false self isn't active all the time, which is why with borderlines you see this like hyper volatility with emotions. It's also why they can heal. They can, but not without. They have to have very firm boundaries held with them. They can't be running the show. And healthy borderlines do tend to know that, which is why they're in therapy and they're doing DBT and everything, but dialectical behavioral therapy, so they'll snap back and forth between their false self and their real self, but it gives a sense of like great shame. And so it could be that this is coming out very strong now where like if somebody does have a pattern like this where they snap back and forth between their like false self and their real self, they are seeing this real self because it's hard. Oh, I think that's what I was just picking up on of because of that Knight of Cups is like that false self, dreamy fantasy kind of energy. And then that harsh truth. And that might have been your experience here kind of with this person. They also might kind of see things in black and white here. But I think they're just trying to own up to some type of emotional volatility. Oh, everybody's sharing good people to watch on narcissism in the chat. Yes. Okay, so what does this person want to say? I mean, I think that they're basically saying that this part of them was in the driver's seat. That they were allowing this like wounded inner child thing. Like I have to protect my inner child. You know, that was like in the driver's seat and they're realizing it should not have been. Yeah, it led to a tower and maybe it ruined your relationship here. Or it ruined a relationship. This doesn't really feel like a third party. Although you take this however it resonates. Like I think for a lot of you, this is your person. If it is a third party, then maybe this was somebody that was with like, it was somebody like an ex, you know? That was very, very triggered by this person moving on. And I think because they had no other choice, but they were supposed to, in that moment, spiritually speaking, they were supposed to recognize their own emotional volatility and how it leads to these kinds of things. And like really focus on that, like the root of it, and really focus on that so they can get their life together and they can have a stable environment for their child. That's actually the best thing they could have done for their child, which is why you kind of know it's horseshit. If they're saying like, oh, me acting out in all these kinds of ways is what's best for the child. It's absolutely dog shit, the worst thing for this child. They need stability, and that has to come from somebody dealing with their emotional volatility. And they know that this person saying, I know I need to change. What would this person say to you? I think for some of you, you've had experience where this person will kind of come to and they'll realize what they've done. And it's like confusing for you because you're like, sometimes they can be so clear and so eloquent about what's gone wrong and like what they need to do. And they will kind of lean into that. And then another time they will kind of just like snap back into this false self kind of, you know, especially when things start kind of going back to normal and then they start having people around. And then if they start to feel that threat again of losing it, I don't know. What else does this person want to say to you? Okay. They're saying that they're working on it. That they're trying to let this go, like some type of pattern go. They kind of wrapped it up there at the end very quick in a way that I'm suspicious of. But, you know, like all with a button, you know, there at the end. So what else does this person want to say? Okay, because I was like, no, they started to say some things here about like whatever they did, like their actual confession and like apology here. I mean, it could be that this was like somebody's partner with the Queen of Pentacles coming out. And this magician energy, I think this person is saying that they thought that you were trying to manipulate in order to get in on their money or on their territory or something like that. And they took it as like some type of an affront. And they were very cold. Like this person was operating almost like without a conscience. They didn't feel like something was fair, or they thought they were going to give you a taste of your own medicine or something. So they put up a blockage, an obstacle, like Knight of Wands, right? So they could have slept with somebody. They could have had some type of big argument. They could have sent you a message in some type of anger and wanted it to hurt, like wanted it to cause like some type of pain or some type of betrayal, or wanted to put it, like if this is a third party, they wanted to put an obstacle between two people here. Because they felt like they couldn't win in the situation. And then maybe they just act like they did nothing wrong. I don't know. But you were like very strong, I think, in whatever this was. You like, I think they might say that they have a lot of respect for you and the way that you held yourself, and that something here could have been like way worse. They're saying that you held yourself like in a very strong and dignified way, and that made them more mad for some reason. Because they were trying to ruin your happiness, and like that just wasn't working. And it felt like you were rubbing something in their face. So this person's on a whole emotional volatility trip here. I think this person is saying like they should have just like started over. They should have just like doubled down on their foundations, focused on themselves, like made themselves happy in some type of way. But they should have taken responsibility. They should have like been independent. But either you or somebody here moving on without them, or maybe they sabotaged this so you couldn't move on without them. But that felt like an indictment on them, is what they would say. They felt like it was them that was the problem. That's why like certain things, like that's why your relationship didn't work. That's why the family didn't work. Like they felt like it was obvious. Like if you moved on with somebody else and had like a happy relationship, that it would mean that it was them that was the problem, and they couldn't have that. And I think it's maybe true. They weren't viewing it as like you were just trying to like get away and hold boundaries and stuff. You know, this is very much a person that if it can be destroyed by the truth, it should be destroyed by the truth. And this person has a fantasy where they're like the hero and like they never do anything wrong. And wow. Like, and they were trying to kind of like inject that like around, but like, I couldn't even almost say that, you know, like they know that that's like false, but, it feels like a truth maybe came out, like this truth kind of came out, and maybe at a party or something, and or they were wanting to like reconcile, I don't know, and some type of truth came out, and it was just really disrupting to their energy because they were like, oh no, the truth is coming out, and they wanted to say something that would switch people back to their favor, switch you back to their favor. Okay, anything else? I kind of want to know what you would say to this person. Let me just see. What would you say to this person? What would you say to this? The Moon and the Fool. Major Arcana cards. I think that you would be encouraging to this person. I think that you would say that they are emotionally volatile and that it's good for them to kind of look at this, but also that you've had the rug pulled out from underneath you too many times with this person, so you're a little bit wary. You don't just want to jump into this person. Look, the Devil. We're still pulling out Major Arcana cards. You don't really trust this person. You kind of think that this person says whatever they need to say in order to get what they want in the short term. I'm going to keep pulling until there's no Major Arcana. Justice card. I think for some of you, you feel like, yeah, okay, that was the last Major Arcana. That was like that something here is not balanced and it's not fair. And it's not enough for this person to just own up to their emotional volatility. For some, they need to suck the poison out. If this person was running around lying on you, whoever you love, your family, they need to suck the poison out. They need to go back and they need to say the truth. They need all of this. Great to come through in a tarot reading. It seems like this person has like the gears moving, but it's kind of reminding me of like in AA, the 12-step program, like a lot, like one of the 12 steps is like you make amends. Like with any situation that it's not going to cause more upheaval and more disruption and more hurt, you make amends. And that's because not doing that adds such a thick layer of guilt and shame that people want to numb that out. And so it can drive people back to the addiction. And I just feel like the way you feel about it is you have some poison that you need to suck out of this situation. I don't want to be a part of it. Whatever dirt you went around throwing on my name, you need to go back with your broom and your dustpan and you need to sweep it back up. You need to correct the record. And that's really the only thing here. And you need to respect boundaries. You need to I think for a lot of you are saying, look, I don't want to have a relationship. I don't want to have a conversation with you. I am in my 10 of Pentacles energy. Like I have built something and I deserve to live it. It's the truth. And you tried to erode it and I deserve to live it. So clean up your mess. Don't be in contact with me. Take responsibility. I think there's somebody here that's like, I know this is going to be hard for you to take responsibility because this person, whoever this is, doesn't seem to know how to sort through their issues, and like what's on their plate and what's not, because they've been operating from this way of just trying to deflect for so long. And they know that they're going to need help, but it's like they need to get in therapy. They need to rely on people that they can't hurt, people with degrees. So if they try to, well, they can still... This seems like a person who will go straight for the defamation. Just straight for the defamation. It's like, I'm going to erode your credibility. Like, I think it's great that this person, I think that's what you're saying, is like, it's great that this person wants to take a little bit of responsibility, but fool me once, shame on me, or fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And I think that you've, through your like loving heart or through trying to care for this person in some type of way, you feel like you've stuck your neck out one too many times. Yeah, I think for a lot of you, you're saying this was an abusive relationship, and that like it was, at very least, it was an emotionally abusive relationship. It was an emotional roller coaster. You were blamed for things that were not your fault, publicly and privately, and that you have gotten away from this, and you deserve to get away from this. And yeah, for some, like this could have been a marriage that you're getting away from, like involving a child, and like you just need to be able to do that. Or like you're married again somewhere else and there's real love in that situation and it's delicate and it's a pure love and you just want to experience that. And some of you still don't trust that this person's not up to their some old weird bullshit, trying to like sneak their way back in and break up your relationship. So you feel like you're with a soulmate and you're not giving up that soulmate, like to make sure this person feels okay about whatever fucked up thing they did in the past. Like, I don't think you feel like this person's necessarily pursuing you for their own selfish reasons, but it also wouldn't surprise you if they were. And this person has this habit of like going off like shocking you, and you don't want to open yourself back up to whatever Uranus sudden bolt out of the blue energy this person is going to like bring in. So I think this person would tell you that they felt abandoned and stuff, but this is a whole emotional drama that is not grounded in reality. And so I think like what life is trying to show to this person is they need to be in a bit of a vacuum right now. They need to go to therapy. This is a them problem. It's not a relationship problem. The way that they need to solve this is privately and alone. That's the truth. And that's the truth that this person doesn't really want to accept. They want to work together with you on something. I would be very wary. I think you already are. They would say like, let's work together. I'm safe now. Like they, and they might even mean it, but I think that this person means it for a while. And then the moment that they get triggered, like they just haven't done the work. I think is what you're basically saying. You're like, I get sucked in because I feel bad for this person, or there is genuine love there, or we do share a child. And, so I always want to make sure that the child is good. But at the same time, it's like, that you have to model healthy behaviors and you should really be saying no. And you should really be able to hold a boundary. And I feel bad for this kid because I just feel like they have not seen a firm boundary. They've seen whoever this is, whichever parent this is that's doing this, snake around boundaries. I come from a cesspool of psychological issues myself. And that's one thing, like there were certain people in my family even like professionals, it used to scare me because these people are supposed to be really educated, and I would just see somebody wrap them around their finger to get exactly what they wanted out of the situation. It was scary. It actually freaked me out. Like about the world that we live in. And it just felt they were unstoppable. Like their level of evil and malevolence and trickery was like absolutely unstoppable. I really didn't see anybody that could stop them except for, I think I've told you guys this before. When I was 18, I took an intro to psych class, and they had this roving gang of 5 therapists that were going into the psych classes, and they were talking about healthy relationships because I grew up in Missouri. They had this whole thing where they were trying to lower the divorce rate by helping people choose healthy relationships right off the bat and to clue people in on unhealthy abusive tactics. And this man, and I think it mattered that it was a man because I'd only ever seen my mom run men around her finger. And he was saying, he called my mom's stuff out, and he'd never even met her. It was like at such a distance. And I always knew that my mom was different, but like, I just didn't really know how or why, you know? And a lot of me thought that she was different in like a special, sparkly, shiny kind of way, because there was never a dull moment, you know? She was always, you know, very interesting and vivacious and like, you know, things, but it was very volatile and things were up and down, and I couldn't ever tell up from down like a lot of times. But pointed all those things out. And also I was in a relationship at the time where I was like, oh my gosh, this checks all of the boxes. So I feel like for a lot of you, you've had that moment where you have come across things on the internet where you're like, this ticks a lot of boxes that are worrisome. And you know that this is not a simple fix. And I think you're just feeling like this person can't just be crawling back into your life. So that's what I'm getting. So is there anything else that this person would want to say? One second here. Oh my gosh, ew. Okay. So, okay. Anything else? And then we'll wrap this up and we'll do a general message. Okay, like, okay. Okay, so we have the 2 of Pentacles. This person definitely had a choice here, and it's like between the Empress and then we also have Pluto. And I don't know if it's a choice within themselves as to like, they go back and forth maybe, because Pluto is obviously that kind of like power hungry, sneaking around Machiavellian kind of, you know, energy. Yeah, so it's like this person could be saying that they go back and forth between these two, and that's why like you're so confused, and that's kind of what builds up a fantasy. But also, just getting that somebody here could have. Oh, it also could be. Oh, okay, so for some of you, your person might be in another situation, and that's the kind of situation that they're involved with. They've had a child or something with somebody like this that I've just described, and especially if this links up to another pile. I read for a lot of people, and like they're saying that you're the Empress and that they chose like this kind of like plutonic person, and this person's like very unstable, and maybe they don't want to leave because they don't want to leave their kid there. Ugh, that's ew. So maybe they're trying to have an affair. Who is this person? If somebody comes back from your past with a sob story, it's not your job to if somebody comes back with a sob story and they say that this is the kind of situation that they're trapped in, and so now don't you understand like why they can't leave? Like that person is messed up, and just like leave them alone. And you definitely, if they are involved with that ex, you don't want that person's ire like drawn towards you. It's best to just stay out of it. Okay, I'm leaving that. I'm wrapping it up. So that was pile number 3. Okay, so we'll move on to the general messages. We'll compassion that, I guess. We'll compassion it, and we'll move on and see what Spirit has to say. Okay, imminent danger. Okay. Okay, so Spirit, what messages do you have that it doesn't have to be related to, it doesn't have to be related. What do you want to tell us about spirit? Okay, I'm getting this like shocked energy around like spiritual messaging, and then like they show me the Scorpio energy here. Wait, is that it? Yeah. And how that's like kind of beneath the surface. So like I think spirit is just talking about the process of doing shadow work, and like somebody here was just feeling like, maybe not somebody here, but just the nature of like spiritual messaging, and that's kind of like like we're really getting like kind of beneath the surface here in some type of way. Why are you bringing that up, spirit? So it was flashing back and forth, Aries and Scorpio, which are both signs in Vedic astrology that are ruled over by Mars, but very, very different temperaments. So it could be that somebody here is confused about this kind of Mars energy, which I'm taking to mean like some type of aggression or like their competitiveness or their selfishness, because they might not know how to read their selfishness or like that kind of Mars energy when it's engaged, because they might be thinking that Mars is like Aries, that it's always overt and that it's direct and it goes right towards the things that it wants. And it's like kind of like, but really there's like that kind of more scorpionic aggression. And it's more like planned and strategic and covert. And, so they're making some type of they're distinguishing between those two types of Mars energy. Why? Oh, to clarify? And to help somebody's mind expand in some type of way, because, okay, Uranus, there's that kind of sudden insight, like energy here. Oh, okay. Yeah. With the Gemini. So like, again, the dual energy, something here about like conversations. So okay, so yeah, it's saying that there's some type of deception here around an Aries energy. There's some type of deception around it. And this is the energy of like, this like, somebody feels called out is what I'm getting. Or like they feel because somebody's direct. Somebody says exactly what they mean. Okay, but it's getting at some type of Saturnian energy. So there's some type of karmic block. Somebody here is like very cold. Saturn's a very cold energy. We've got a lot of warm, fiery energy. So, oh, look, Saturn and Jupiter. So so I feel like somebody here, there's been a long-term karmic cycle and it hasn't budged. Like somebody here is like, they've just been playing out their karmic cycle. It's not anything that they've made any progress with. But this person might tell themselves some type of narrative that they're making some type of progress. But I think it has some type of misunderstanding, maybe to do with the Mars energy. But I think they're sending in some type of spiritual messaging, and that doesn't just have to be me and like here on my channel, like you're obviously on a tarot channel. So spirit is maybe communicating with you through like divination and some type of, or intuition, just in general, your own intuition, in order to try to help get through this like block or to turn this thing that's been going for like, we're talking 20 years. There's some type of like pattern or something here that's been going for like 20 years. Somebody here is like really, really defensive around that. And they're really defensive about any type of like teacher energy that would come in to assist in breaking that Saturnian energy, because they don't really trust that energy for some reason. They're very like skeptical, and they're very scrutinizing, and they kind of fault find with anybody that spirit has tried to send in to like help. I think a lot of times they just end up feeling they feel like, okay, that person's really impressive, but I don't want to be seen. Like, I am not impressive. I don't want them to see that I'm not impressive. This is like very fixed mindset territory, where a lot of times people with a fixed mindset, and we're juxtaposing that to having a growth oriented mindset. If you have a fixed mindset, a lot of times those are people that can be afraid of the truth. They can be afraid of help. They can be afraid of being found out because they don't feel like they can ever change. So spirit is saying, you can change this, which is why we're highlighting it. We're not highlighting it to just be aggressive or for some type of like strategic purpose. We're highlighting it because you can change this, but you can't change it if you don't see it, if you don't map it out, and if you don't work on it. And so somebody here is like, I think maybe like that's this kind of like energy, like how dare you, because they have a fixed mindset and it feels aggressive because it feels like, oh, why are you trying to call me out? And it's like, well, we're here doing our work. We're here doing our shadow work. Somebody here is like really not familiar with shadow work. And to the extent that they're around the tarot channels or maybe even going to therapy, they really just want their ego stroked. And that's how you get this energy to come out, where you're just stuck in a karmic cycle for 20 years and it hasn't budged. If anything, it's become like more entrenched and you have like two energies that are not working well together. Like the actual karma and the work and the routines and the processes and the actual teaching energy or the knowledge energy or the divine energy, the expansive energy, they're not on the same page to actually move the karmic cycle. Okay, so we have this watery energy, which is clearly like some type of psychic energy. Look, more intuition energy about like the past. And this is K2 energy, so it's headless. So maybe about like the body. Yeah, and the way that the body has maybe been used or yeah, like they're looking deeply into something and sharply in order to like really truly sever something here, like some type of karmic tie. So what else do you want to say, Spirit? Okay. They're saying it's not a conversation. Spirit's saying you don't need to like converse with us. We're just telling you what's going on. Like it's not a conversation. This is not a Libran dynamic between spirit or like between some type of teacher energy that they're sending in, not necessarily a person. It feels like when we're talking about divination, it feels like spirit is trying to get this message through via your own intuition and through the tarot channels, probably like a lot of different ones. You're piecing together this teaching that spirit kind of has for you. So spirit has been trying to get that through. But it's not a conversation. It's not. And I think that there's somebody here trying to wrestle back control. And that might be it, where it's like, maybe this is a group and only if this resonates, where maybe maybe somebody here isn't making a lot of progress in therapy because they're running their therapist around because ultimately they pay their therapist. And if the therapist pushes back, then they'll get a different therapist. They're not using therapy the way that it's meant to be kind of used, or they're able to skirt around. So like, I don't know, there's something here with that message where it's like, I don't know. And they're maybe blocked off from some type of a relationship here because it's not about that. It feels to me though that there's been like a 20-year period where they were in a relationship with somebody, or there was some type of back and forth that was going on, even though they didn't quite need it because spirit was like trying to kind of help and assist and like play nice. But spirit is like, you don't need that. And we're starting to have to put our foot down more because you're not making any progress. And this might not be you, but this could be somebody that you're dealing with. Take that however it resonates. But somebody here is like not making any progress on the karma, the actual karmic knot that they're supposed to be like looking at. Defensive. Somebody here might feel very defensive against like spirituality and intuition and things like that. And I'm not trying to talk you into it if you don't feel comfortable. I feel like this is for whoever you are. There could be some cognitive dissonance because you need the help, and this is a way in which you can feel seen. But maybe, I don't know, maybe some of you are like spooked out by therapy or something. Or like, again, friends wouldn't work with this group either because I just feel that there's something here where it's like you need to not be in control. Whether this is you or whether it's somebody that you're dealing with, they think that they want to be in control. Like it's disingenuous. Like the way that they're saying that they're not into like therapy or like it's disingenuous because they would really only like to be in dynamics that they can control. They would only go to a therapist that they would control anyways. They would only talk to their friends that they know is always going to agree with them anyways. And it's not helpful. So yeah, so it's like they're saying like, we're sorry this is a tower moment, but like nothing has budged. Like you had like there's a lot of time that we should have been making that kind of incremental progress. So what else are you trying to say here, Spirit? There's a plan. They're saying that there's a plan. There's a plan to do with a child, somebody here from the past. And for somebody to be in this hangman energy, they're forcing somebody here, whether this is you or somebody else, they're forcing them to have to look at something in a different way. To break a pattern here. It's definitely a familial pattern, but like to break a pattern here in order to take some type of higher cup. They feel bad because they can't win. yeah, somebody here, like somebody here is like complaining is kind of what I'm getting. Either it's in their head or it's like they don't see the point. It's like something where they're saying, I don't see the point in this. I don't want to have to talk about this. I don't want to have to blah, blah, blah. And it's just because they're sitting in their seat, and I'm seeing like a seat where it's like clearly entrenched in something where they feel somewhat powerful and in control. They don't want to get off of that seat. They're kind of looking for a strategy or how they're going to like maneuver this. They don't feel like they can win, which means their ego doesn't think that they can win. And the ego is headed for annihilation. That's what spiritual work is. And it's not supposed to feel comfortable. And if you feel a little bit trepidatious, it's because, yeah, you're challenging that ego. It feels like an ego death. The ego thinks that it's you. So you feel like you're headed towards some type of death. It's this kind of like right before you go over the like roller coaster thing. But it's good. It's positive. And so they're saying that's why it feels unnatural. That's why it doesn't feel right. That's not the same thing as like resonance. Or I'm just seeing somebody, again, sitting here like this, and they're passing judgment, and they're like this and that, and they're that and this, but it's because something's triggering them, because it's actually landing, and it's supposed to hit your ego. It's supposed to annihilate your ego. You're supposed to feel like that's what the work is. Like, it's actually challenging you. You're not supposed to go to therapy and get a hot stone massage every single time. You know, that's not what it's supposed to be. It's not, I think somebody here, it's like they make their I feel good king or queen. Well, I don't feel good is essentially, they know they can't say that directly, but they'll come up with some excuse. They'll character defame is what they'll do. Anybody who actually helps them, like any teacher that's actually brought in, whether they bring it, because I feel like they've tried this in the past. They've brought in some type of somebody who, you know, we're all just walking each other home. So they brought in a friend that has some type of expansive knowledge or something about this, and that where they've kind of challenged and they've said, hey, I don't think that this works very well for you. And then they've been like, can you believe that person? They just like crossed a boundary telling me that they didn't think that my partner is good for me. And we can't go to church anymore because they were like, they said, like, why are you even going here? And like, were they totally right? Yes. Should you have considered what they were saying deeply? Yes. You know, like, but you won't. So you have to have a different way of hearing it, because it's something that like this person wants to feel in control. Like they can just deflect. They can just say no. They can just smack it down. They want to feel in control. They want to feel the authority of being able to do that. And spirit is more and more moving this person to a place where it's like they're running out of options, basically, because they misuse that energy. But they confuse themselves about their misuse of it, because they just want to say, like when I tell you, or when other readers say, like, if does it resonate? What we're not saying is, has this confirmed your own bias? That feels good, right? And so it's like, well, this is kind of what I thought was going on. Well, a lot of times you have to challenge what you think is going on in order to actually hit pay dirt of what's actually going on. But in order to understand that, you have to understand how the mind works. Ramana Maharshi, who is one of my gurus and teachers, he says that the mind is the enemy on the way to liberation. You have to know how the mind works, because the mind can be a distortion machine. This is why we talk so much about ego defense mechanisms. It's something that you should know inside and out. You should know the handful of ego defense mechanisms if you're doing any kind of inner spiritual work at all, because you're going to always bump into them. And it's things like delusion, it's repression, it's reaction formation. You know, these are the ways that your mind can kind of distort reality. And you can have a full PhD in psychology and not understand when those are active for yourself, because that's the way that your mind developed. This is what I mean. You have to learn how to get around that. The mind is not always a helpful tool. So somebody here has figured out how to use their mind to keep themselves enthroned and stuck in a rut. But they're like a throne. They're on a throne of something dysfunctional, something that doesn't work. And you have to get to a place where you're like, this doesn't work, and I can sit on my throne and never ever be challenged because I figured out how to deflect enough. But it's not actually helping. And I just feel like somebody here, this has gone on for a long period of time. Like, and they're not, when they reflect that situation back to even spirit, they don't give spirit the credit of like, you've really worked for me. Like, you've really worked with me very slowly, carefully, patiently for decades. And I have ignored you, and I've deflected every person that you've tried to send in to help me because they didn't have the proper authority, you know, or they couldn't, I would never tell them the truth. So they didn't actually have the tools. So possibly that's why somebody here is like being guided more down a path of divination, because you don't have to tell somebody who's like reading your cards exactly what the truth is. You can lie and you can say that didn't resonate, and it might not resonate at first, but then when you kind of sit with it, you're like, oh, okay, I think it did resonate a little bit. And that's the kind of danger of this work. But I feel like somebody here, that's why you're being drawn more towards divination, is because you're too good of a deflector. Like, you're too good of a deflector. And that's the thing that makes you feel comfortable, is you feeling in control over a therapist situation because you pay them. or over like a friend situation, because you only have the friends around you that are not going to challenge you. Because anybody that challenged you, you quickly, you threw black paint on them and you were like, shame, and then like, ran out the door. And when really that person was being a good friend. So the reality is distorted all around you, and you have to be challenged to see things through a different lens, or nothing is ever actually going to change. It feels uncomfortable, and your ego is going to lash out like an immune system response, because it's like a foreign agent, but it doesn't mean bad all the time. And I feel like there's been some good thing that has tried to come through here. This is either you or this is somebody here that you're dealing with. That you've probably, if this is somebody that you're dealing with, you've probably reached the end of your rope, where you're like, there is no getting through to this person. They are really, really stubborn. They're very entrenched in whatever it is that they're doing. There's no like kind of getting through to this person. And this would be the kind of person too, where education's not the answer. And that's something that's really hard for people who believe in people to kind of grapple with. And what I mean is, like, a lot of us feel like, well, if they just knew better, if I just taught them about narcissism, if I just taught them about the way that their mind works or something, this is the kind of person, because their ego is so strong and it's so active, and they don't want to see the truth because the truth feels threatening to them. They don't want to see the truth. So everything that you educate them with, they just turn into a weapon. They just turn into a deflection tool. And you're like, how did you do that? Like, this is the whole, like, our society, like, weaponizing therapy speak. Therapy speak can be such a powerful tool when it's used with somebody in good faith that cares about the truth, that's trying to actually work through their issues. But if they're just trying to win in an argument, which so many people are, or they're just trying to deflect and like sit on their throne, then it's annoying, and it's like, and so this is the kind of person who I'm picking up on, where education's not the answer, because you can educate this person all day long, and the only thing they're going to do with it is deflect. They're going to use that to stay stuck rather than to actually help themselves. Look, they're pissed too. Like, this person, energetically, they're just pissed at me calling them out. Look, judgment, because it feels like judgment, and it is, but this is a person who doesn't have a healthy energy with judgment. I would imagine this is somebody who like weaponizes judgment against other people quite a bit in order to maintain control. And I'm hearing deflection again, in order to get the judgment energy off of them. And they feel like who are you to judge me? Because they feel like whoever's like pointing something out is like in the throne seat. Like, and so I feel like this person has built a throne based on judgment in some kind of way, where it's not even right judgment. Like, they just throw it to deflect away from themselves. It's not actually accurate. It's not like, hey, I really need to say this. No, it's like, it's aggressive. And it is, look, now this person's like feeling called out, and they're like, yeah, like this person can like spit things in order to change things in their like direction. And that's the way that they use judgment. So when they are actually in the room with, like, say, a therapist, for instance, that happens to be very good at their job, or a friend who really knows that a certain situation is toxic, and they are having judgment, but it's hitting them, everything is true. They're not doing it to try to maintain control or to try to like make this person feel bad, but it feels that way to this person because their defense mechanism for so long has been to turn judgment around on other people, which is a smear campaign. In case you didn't know, that's defaming somebody so that they don't have power to challenge you. So you're the villain. So if this is you, it's like, yeah, you're the villain in this situation, or if this is the person that you're dealing with and you're like, I don't know. Cause like, I felt like spirit was calling me in there. I was trying to like illuminate things. I was saying everything in good faith. And then all of a sudden this person was like, yeah, that's kind of what it is. That's what it is. So, okay. Anything else? Yeah, I mean, okay, so we have this like 10 of plastics, which is the 10 of Pentacles, which has made an appearance quite a few times today, but like she's breaking the plastic crown, which is very symbolic, breaking the plastic crown. Somebody here settled for the plastic crown of the ego. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, I think somebody here is very good. Like, they're very adept at deflecting. I think they're just so good at it. And so they've accepted this plastic crown. And it might look like they're a king or a queen or whatever. Like they know how to sway public opinion, or they know, like that's what they know how to do. It's not an actual crown of self-sovereignty. It's not an actual crown of enlightenment. It's not an actual crown of I've mastered humanity, because they've lost their humanity to engage tactically with people like this who really are well-intentioned, but need to be potent sometimes to actually be in alignment with truth. Not my truth, not your truth. Right? Like in order to just be in alignment with everybody's truth, there's like a higher truth than just your truth. It's like, well, yeah, you had your truth in that situation, but so did she, and so did they. And so there's kind of a unifying truth. And I feel like that's what Spirit is trying to do. And Spirit's trying to say it in a loving manner. But I think like they're saying somebody here needs to master Queen of Cups energy, where they are not allowing something to kind of like affect their emotional state. I kind of feel like somebody here is trying to do shadow work, but they have a very, very thin skin. Yeah. So Spirit is trying to get somebody a new beginning, like some type of passionate new beginning. And I even feel like somebody here may have like a dharma, like some type of like mission or something here like that. But they have to be placed in this uncomfortable position of stagnation where they're trying to go after some type of muffin, right? Like there's some type of cookie that they want, but Spirit's like, you can't get the cookie, but like straining to try to get the cookie, and they're all kind of bound up like this. This is their karma, I think, but it's like something, it's teaching them something, whether this is you or whether this is something else. And it's also, while they're doing that, it is actually changing their perspective in some type of way. And it is leading to this like new beginning and possibly a change of place and a change of pace. But they have to realize, like, again, whether this is you or whether this is somebody else, and none of us are perfect people, okay? But it's like, this is the scene in Mean Girls where it's like, and raise your hand if you've ever felt that way by Regina George. It's like somebody here has to admit, like, no, I have been the mean person. I've been the mean girl, but I'm just very, very good at being able to hide or deflect it. And so what happens too, and I know you know this at the very least, like you've been on the other side of this, where when somebody doubles down so hard, it makes penetrating through that, you have to be more pointed and more, you have to come in at a harder velocity to try to pierce their armor. Like it's just, that's the way it comes through. So I don't know if this is like Spirit has had to get sharper and sharper with the messages, or there's certain experiences that have really hit like sharper and sharper. And Spirit's like, because the whole, like the way that somebody here went, whether this is you or somebody else, they went the wrong way with it, where they like tried to harden their armor because they're going for the plastic crown. They're going for, I know how to stay on my like stupid little throne, but it's just, it's keeping everything in a functioning dysfunction, and it's keeping their ego like feeling buoyant. That's not the same thing as things resonating, you know? Somebody here looks at everything through the lens of the ego. The ego thinks it's you. Like they're very, very merged with it. And they don't understand that Spirit trying to knock their ego so that they can have an experience. They will have as soon as they get their ego well and truly rocked, they will have some type of spiritual experience. I imagine it will be insane and it will be like very cathartic. I'm just picturing this person kind of like crying, and they'll have that experience that all of us realized, where we're like, oh, I'm not my ego. I'm not my body. I'm not all the traits that I'm kind of like identified with. I am a process that is unfolding, and I have to get back home. Like, you know, they're going to start to kind of like understand that. I just heard thank you for saying that. And it felt like somebody like squeezed me, and like, I felt like just goosebumps like all over my body, where it's like, oh, that's like the thing that we're doing. And it's not masochistic, and it's not meant to like degrade us or make us suffer. It's just peeling away the false self. But somebody here's so merged with the false self that it feels bad. So like all of our tarot terms where it's like, does this resonate? They're like, it doesn't resonate because it doesn't massage my ego. And those are different things. But somebody here hasn't experienced anything more subtle than just massaging their own ego. And also there could be something here where this person really has a lot to account for, and they're scared to do it because it does feel like that tower moment. It feels like that like ego annihilation energy, and they've never been through one before, or they've never been through one this big before. And so they're catastrophizing, and they're blaming, and they're lashing out instead of like listening to Spirit and saying, okay, like I'm going to trust you. Like if the truth can set you free, then like, let me just say like, yes, I admit it. Okay. I did this, I did that, and like not try to backtrack on it, you know, and then actually like work to fix it. I don't know. A person like this needs a lot of help. They need a lot of like, they don't know how to correct something. Like you'd have to tell them like every kind of step along the way. Because it's not just about like saying one thing and then it's done. Like I can feel that energy in this person. That's what they want it to be, but it's not that way. It's not that way. And this is either you or this is somebody that you're dealing with, but this is the human experience, and try not to be embarrassed about it. You know, that's more of like that ego thing. That's very self-conscious. The ego can get very self-conscious. It's very like, it's always managing its appearances and like how it looks and things like that. But it's just something here that I feel like somebody here can feel the truth of something, but they still feel like that truth is an attack. And they're just not, they're not being truthful about the fact that they need some type of help, and it feels like a spiritual kind of help. And they've been brought right up to the door, and they're pushing against it. They're still like defending against it. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave that there. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave that there. And I'm just going to remind people in the chat that this is an interfaith community. We have had some issues on Patreon of people really saying some harsh things about other religions. And I just want to call that out, that we're all like, that maybe that's the last thing that I'll say, because we process a lot of the religions of the book, which is Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. We have a lot of like similar beliefs and foundations like in our cultures, but at the same time, a lot of animosity between those cultures. But if you come from one of them, like just understand that there's people processing things from other ones of them. Like we're all brothers and sisters. I feel at the end of the day, we're all processing through different things. And it's important to just remember that we have people who have lived all kinds of lives and live like all around. And it's important to make space for those people while also like, you know, sharing our own experiences as well. So, okay.
I also just want to point out that in regards to what you just were commenting on.
Yeah.
Most people don't necessarily need a huge reminder on this, but I do just want to kind of like have a gentle reminder of any kind of stereotyping or scapegoating.
Yeah.
Regardless
it's not
of what
okay.
it is, that's just a very childish way of existing in the world. And we're trying to be a mature, supportive, like mutually loving community here.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's the kind of energy that you're going to bring, where you're going to, you know, scapegoat one religion or group of people in any capacity,
Mm-hmm.
that's just not an appropriate way of approaching a conversation that is productive in any way.
Yeah. And I do just want to say, like, just personally, especially for those of you that are on Patreon, there's been a couple times here, like in the last like couple of months, if you happen to be Muslim or, you know, Islam, if you come from that tradition or background and you feel like I didn't speak up soon enough or that I didn't have your back, I am so sorry. I don't know, like it's like there's no excuse. Like people were saying some weird out of pocket shit, not to mention like everything that's going on in the world right now. And I just don't want to be contributing to that energy. I love everybody here. Like I feel like God is so big that it's all of us. And I don't know. Sometimes I can be a little bit awkward with trying to interject. And sometimes I can also be scared of people. Because a lot of times I do get yelled at and it's fine. Like it comes with the territory, but I'm just saying specifically to the people out there who are Muslim or, you know, that are Islamic, you come from that background, whether you're practicing now or you're not, and you've seen people say some weird shit, like stereotypical shit, and they were not delicate about, hey, this is my personal experience, like, you know, that I've been working through, and instead kind of like throwing everybody under the bus, like everybody, like it's a monolith and that everybody is like this way. Like, no.
And this is not to invalidate anybody's experience if you know, have had experiences in one way or another, but it's just to say like, hey, maybe you should approach discussing this with a broader community in a more delicate manner. Just be more tactful. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then, okay. So our Patreon live topic is tied for tomorrow. What is your inner child proud of you for? And delusion versus love. Am I fooling myself? Wait, I thought that the inner child one was winning.
It was winning.
And now it's tied.
But when the poll ended, they were tied.
Oh, okay.
They both had exactly 39% of the vote.
And that's what we're doing tomorrow.
Well.
Okay, so. All right, well, we'll figure that out.
We're probably going with the inner child because that one was.
That was like winner. I thought that, like, I kept telling myself that was
getting prepared for. So we'll have to do something else with the other one.
I need an Alex button. In Buddhist tales, the phony holy man says about criticism towards individuals who project an outward appearance of piety or renunciation while maintaining selfish immoral intentions internally. Chaos Coven is a safe space. Thanks to Jess and Alex. Oh, thanks. Well, we tried to make it that way. Okay, so I think we'll probably do the inner child one because that's the one that was like ahead. And then maybe we'll do like, wait, I think we have an extra weekend. Okay, so maybe we'll do 2 live streams in the month of May, and what?
I said if you want.
Yeah, why not? And we'll do both of them. I don't know in what order, but we'll do both of them because we have an extra weekend. So, okay. I will see you guys tomorrow at the same time for those of you that are on Patreon, and we'll do probably the inner child one tomorrow. What is your inner child proud of you for? And then we'll do the delusion versus love. Am I fooling myself? Okay. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Sorry if that got a little bit like preachy or wordy at the end, but I do just want to make sure that people feel safe and comfortable. And just so we're on the same page, like there's working through your stuff in a tactful way, and then there's just sort of belligerently painting over like people with like, you know, huge brushes. And I don't know. Okay, so that's what I have for you guys. Bye.